Just another day relaxing, watching the television, can't do anything else. Can you? After a while of going through the endless news about the situation of this world, you can't help but notice some people are having trouble going through the day, with the pandemic being on the rise. It's a known fact that money, despite being just a conceptual tool, has great control over this world, and some people have more of it, while some have less. This is the problem of economic inequality. Why did it come to this? The 21st century is the peak of modernization. We're sending people to space and aiming to reach Mars, for crying out loud. A society so advanced in technology and morale must have been capable of generating enough savings for difficult times for everyone. But this clearly isn't the case, so where did we fail then? Is a solution even possible for a humongous problem like economic inequality? And if there is in fact a solution like that, then is it something that this crazy weird world could follow thoroughly? Perhaps there can only be crazy weird solutions for this crazy weird world. So here's a crazy and weird solution. If you really think about it, it's not like there isn't enough money for everyone. It's just that there's a gap between the rich and the poor, and there's an even bigger gap between the rich and the poor countries. The high-income regions being USA, China, the continent of Europe, Australia, Japan and Russia, and most of the low-income countries being in between the red lines. It's fascinating to see how the hot countries, with some exceptions, are usually on the low-income side, and colder countries, with some exceptions, are economically well off. Some examples of hot regions being India, the continent of Africa, Brazil, and some of cold regions being Australia, Canada, the European Union, and USA. So this crazy weird solution has to do with the state of this Earth, currently being tilted at 23.5 degrees. It allows for this economic inequality to happen. What if this tilt were to be doubled to 47 degrees now? This is definitely going to be chaotic. Hell, it may even be the end of this world as we know it. But hey, that's what we're here for the crazy weirdness of it all. Apparently now, the hot climate of continent of Africa would now be the climate of Europe, and Africa would get the chilling cold climate of Europe. This would make rich residents of Europe to move on to different places, a possible and familiar climate region being Africa. If some Africans do decide to move to their familiar climate region, then a possibility for that would be Europe. The government staying as they are, it would bring social capital in terms of expenditure by the Europeans. A country's economy is the amount of money spent by the residents after all, and if some people decide to stay in Europe, or move to Europe, they would get the great infrastructure capital, with many possibilities. A similar exchange of social capital and infrastructure could happen between India and Russia, and also Brazil and USA. But this is only one of the possible exchanges. Situations could play out either ways, but one thing is guaranteed: the borders drawn out between the countries would matter less now, and this world would go on to get closer to global unification. After so much of tilting, it begs the question about the damage to the vegetation, wildlife, and the natural disasters possible because of this tilt. Perhaps that is for another video. At the end of it all, nature does have a habit of restoring itself, and also there is a price to pay for everything, even this video. Subscribe now, won't you?